Welcome, everybody. Welcome. My name is Happy Gigumakhumalo Ngidi. I am the Chief Marketing Officer, proudly South African, but I'm also the hostess today to this fantastic discussion we're going to have. Women in leadership, fix her crown. Hashtag fix her crown. How do we fix each other's crowns? And who fixes your crown as a woman? It has been a bumper-packed month celebrating women who are predominantly behind the scenes in 4 sectors, and these women are doing incredible things in the different sectors that we've looked into, and today is no different. We have researched them, we have found them, we have found their addresses, their telephone numbers, their ID numbers, the telephone numbers of their spouses. We will find you at Proudly South African. That's what we've done. So we kicked off at the beginning of the month with women in the clothing, textile, footwear and leather. And we moved on to the next sector, which was the sugar sector. We learned so much from that sector. We then moved on last week to the creative arts, what we see on television, what we consume on radio, what we, all the arts world, so to speak. And we had amazing women. But today we have not dropped the standard. We have brought you incredible minds into the studio. Welcome to everybody who's joined us this morning. Obviously, a warm welcome to our guests. I've got 2 incredible looking ladies in the on set with me today. There we go. On set with me this morning. We also have more women joining us online. I'd like to welcome all our stakeholders from different sectors and industries. Welcome to everybody who's joining us on this Zoom platform, but we're also live streaming on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube. Welcome to all of you out there. Special welcome to our colleagues at the DTIC and all the other stakeholders we work with. But most importantly, welcome to our partners who are here in the studio and who are also joining us online. Thank you so much for agreeing to partner with us, BMW South Africa, and thank you to Sizwe IT for agreeing to partner with us today. I've just paid the bills. Guys, no one can blame me. I have just paid the bills for the day. Thank you so much. So, while we're talking to women in leadership in the automotive sector, what we do know is that the South African Automotive Master Plan 2021 to 2035 could see the automotive industry growing from 600,000 to 1.4 million vehicles a year in production. And therefore, this will assist in terms of massive potential through the entire value chain. Let that sink in. From 600,000 to 1.4 million vehicles produced in South Africa a year. The automotive industry is currently a significant contributor to South African GDP, 6.8%, with 110,000 people employed across vehicle and component manufacturers. It also has an estimated indirect impact on 1.5 million people, job creation element. The sector represents approximately 33% of the overall manufacturing output. So with this, I mean, there's quite a lot more that we are still going to hear from the actual experts. But this background just gives you an idea of what we are dealing with, what we are about to discuss today, and how important this sector is, and the fact that it has a huge job creation element to it, and therefore creating jobs, sustaining jobs, and ultimately dealing with an economy that is very fragile, not only because of the pandemic. We all know that prior to the pandemic, our economy was already in trouble, and it's going to take all these sectors, including the automotive sector, to make a difference for us to see, to realize the difference that we would like to see as a people and as a country. Buy local narrative is a tried and tested method the world over. Every country has its own buy local movement. Buy local, support local for the betterment of its economy. And that's exactly why Proudly South African exists. We seek to educate South Africans about the importance of buying local, and we use all sorts of touch points when we talk to the private sector, the public sector, and to the consumers. And this, having a discussion with women in the automotive sector, is one of the many elements that we use, or one of the many touch points that we use. We've had to think outside the box. I was saying to my guests earlier on, we all know that we're all webinar fatigued. So for us to get them to come all the way here, they told me it better be good. It can't be the same old story. It better be good. And I'm hoping that we are slowly but surely delivering on our promise. Without further ado, it gives me great pleasure for us to play our own commercial, Proudly South African, very emotive commercial that basically sums it all up for us, for us as a campaign. We are asking South Africans to pause for 1 second and rethink their loyalty to South African products and to South African services, for the betterment of our own economy. And we couldn't have used an amazing local export in our very own King of Waganda, Dr. John Kani, whose birthday it was yesterday, by the way. Happy birthday, Dr. John Kani. We did send you, lovely messages yesterday from Proudly South African, because we couldn't afford to sleep on the job. May we have game time on screen? Thank you so much.
The second half is about to begin. We need to change the scoreboard. It's time for all of us to pause and rethink the game plan in order to save the future. I call on all of us to be game changers, because greatness isn't reserved only for some people. By buying local, we're choosing to create jobs and sustain the ones we have. Time and time again, South Africans have taken destiny into their own hands, creating products that the rest of the world wanted to buy. See, the world remembers about us, what we sometimes forget. But it's time for change. Let's all buy local. It's game time. Zanzi.
Local is lekker.
Your everyday decisions shape our future.
So Dr. John Kani says, it's game time in Mzansi. Let's all buy local. If we don't listen to our own elder, I call him elder. If we don't listen to our own elder, who's reminding us to buy local, then I don't know what must happen. So with that said, we all want to win something. It's always lovely to win something when you connect to these type of discussions. I wish I could win. So today, just like we've done the past 4 weeks, if you've been following our discussions, we always have a prize. And today is no different. So I'm going to ask you to look at the screen. There is a QR code. There we go. You are just about to see. Grab your camera, take a photo of this QR code, follow the details on the back end, and answer a very simple question. And the question is, how many BMW plants do we have in South Africa? How many BMW plants do we have in South Africa? Do what you need to do. Contact Auntie Google or Uncle Google, whatever it takes. Your fingers must do the talking and answer the question, and you will win an amazing prize. I'll tell you what the prize is when I remind you later on to enter that competition. But grab your phone and do what the QR code tells you to do. Maybe I should tell them now. Carissa, what do you think?
Let's go for it.
Let's go for it. So your prize is a BMW, not a car. It's a BMW driving experience. It's a BMW driving experience voucher for the off-road driving experience at the brand new BMW X-Drive Park in Waterfall, valued at 3,500. Listen, if you're out in Durban and you really want it, you're going to have to hop onto a plane or, go on a nice road trip to come over this side, to come and enjoy your prize. But you're welcome to enter the competition. And I'm assuming we're going to be using a locally assembled car.
Obviously.
And the locally assembled car is an X5.
X3.
X3?
Yes.
Wow. Didn't you, I'm going to throw you under the bus. I'm going to throw you under the bus. They're not getting a 5.
No, X3.
They're getting a 3.
X3.
Listen, but it's still luxury.
Absolutely.
At its best, right?
Absolutely.
It's an X3, but it is still luxury at its best, and you're going to drive this baby around at the driving experience, off-road driving experience at the brand new BMW Drive Park in Waterfall. So do what you need to do. Fantastic. Great stuff. So it's time for you to meet our guests, and I will start off with the guests in the studio. There we go. There they are. And they're both wearing local. They promised me. And I did look at the labels. So I'm confident they are. So on my left, I do have in studio Abba Ratohwa from Sizwe IT, and Abba is the Chief Revenue Officer. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How are you doing?
I'm happy.
Wow.
How are you?
I'm super good. Thank you so much. You're always happy. And that is your name, right?
You cannot be named happy
and not be happy
and walk around with a long face. It's a problem. The combination does not work.
Not at all.
It's a trap from Jesus and my parents.
They knew what they were doing.
They knew what they were doing. Welcome, Abba. Great to see you, and we look forward to chatting to you further.
Thank you very much.
Hold that thought. Hold that thought. And our next guest, who is with me in the studio, this is how we choose to introduce her, with the 3 pictures from BMW. That's how we choose to welcome Carissa. There we go, Carissa. There we go. Look at that. Look at that image. I think my most favorite is the Gusheshe.
It's most people's favorite.
It is, right?
It's very proudly South African.
You cannot begin to have a discussion around BMW and you do not think of a Gusheshe.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. There we go. I absolutely love that picture. Welcome, Carissa. Carissa Hector is Director Human Resources, BMW. Welcome. Great to have you here today.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Fantastic. I cannot wait to hear all sorts of stories about how we make it, you make all of that happen. I know that there's a colleague online who will give us another aspect of the kind of work you do. Looking forward to meeting her as well. And can we have Ntabi Singh on screen, please? I hear Ntabi Singh is here. Hey, Ntabi Singh.
Hi, afternoon, everyone.
Hello. Hello, Bells lady.
Hi. My name is Ntabi Singh. Ntabi Singh Benz, obviously. Mine, everyone have to make me happy. So opposite. So as you can see, BMW is making me happy.
Oh, fantastic. That's good to know. So Ntabi Singh is the production team leader at BMW. And listen, Ntabi Singh, you're not sleeping on the job. I see you are wearing your uniform. You are ready for action. There's no confusion there, right?
And no, there's no confusion. I know what to do.
You know what to do.
Sorry.
No problem, we can see.
Sorry, the boardroom bought me out there. Okay. I'm the assembly production manager. So yeah, I'm happy to be invited and to be part of this discussion.
Fantastic. I've got so many questions.
Thank you.
Because listen, you know, I mean, the kind of work that I was told you do, I was like, I mean, I cannot, you know, I can't wait to hear from you telling us about all the wonderful things you do at the plant. Thank you so much, and
Thanks.
Tabiseng. Fantastic.
Thank you.
And as we about to welcome our next speaker, I just want us to have a bit of a break and play a montage that we've put together at Proudly South African, which in a way speaks to that gusheshe that we saw earlier on, because it's also about creativity. Listen, guys, if there's anything we have in South Africa, we have a great sense of humor. It doesn't matter what happens. You know, it doesn't matter, you know, what stuff we're going through. We have a great sense of humor as a people, but we also extremely creative and talented, and you're about to see what I mean. Can we have the montage on screen, please?
Manufacturing is back on track. Industrial shares.
Hi. Are you guys open?
Yes, come inside. I see two people sitting by the sea, they look at the view. They're saying nothing to each other cause they don't need to.
How are you?
All I wanna do is walk along the shore with you.
Hey! What can we do for you today?
Can I get two, please? Let's make it three.
A new journey awaits, and together we can move South Africa forward. Drive local, support local. Get the locally produced Polo or Polo Vivo with no deposit and 90-day delayed payment.
Volkswagen.
So the intention to share that with you is to showcase to you, first of all, some of the cars that are assembled locally. And by virtue of the fact that we are a buy local campaign as Proudly South African, we need friends. So when we speak in the automotive sector, we need friends. It doesn't matter which brand it is. The common thread is that these are brands that are made locally. So the X3 is made locally by BMW, as we know. And on the montage, you saw the Toyota Corolla, you know, which is a family car, but you also saw the Sesfigile taxi, which is a mode of transport for many, many South Africans who don't have their own private cars. And of course, towards the end of the montage, you saw VW Polo Vivo, which is made locally as well, with a very heavy message around supporting local and buying local. But in between, there was a nice breather and a nice element of seeing, you know, young people, young boys, you know, from the townships, who are extremely creative, who make. In fact, it takes me back to my you know, to my time back home and my upbringing, where my cousins who were boys and my neighbors who were boys used to make these wire cars, guys. Creativity at its best. And if that kind of talent and that kind of thought process could be nurtured by you know, by the country, by, you know, people who are in positions to do it, you know, even from home, by parents who see that type of talent in a child and nurture that and encourages it, and we could have a lot of those young stars working in the sector and ultimately contributing to the sector positively, and not only seeing, you know, them creating these wire cars, you know, as a hobby or just as another thing to do to keep them busy, but there is something there. You know, because you will have seen in the actual montage, there's a boy who's created a family car like your Toyota Corolla, and then it moves on to a SUV. You know, there's a shape that looks like an SUV, and then they move on to an actual taxi. You know, and then one of those wire cars is actually a truck. So we just thought that it gives a nice feel to what it is that we're going to discuss today. That it starts with at a very young age, and can you imagine if the education department introduced in the curriculum entrepreneurship in different sectors? By the time they have these discussions at our age, half the job is done. And it ticks many boxes. It ticks the unemployment issue. It ticks it contributes to the economy. But it also takes away that myth that we must all go to school, learn to be a doctor, a nurse, a lawyer, you know what I mean, and not think outside the box. There's many industries where you know, if it were to be an entrepreneurship type of driven focus at school level, half the unemployment problems that we have as a country would be a thing of the past, honestly. So we hope that montage was well appreciated. Karesa, just to say that you know, you've got some of the car makers in that montage, those little boys who may one day work for, who knows, BMW South Africa, Toyota, Isuzu, or you know, all of them. And then the reason why I was mentioning the fact that we need you know, for us to spread the buy local narrative as a campaign, we really need all banks in South Africa. We need all car manufacturers in South Africa. We need all appliance manufacturers in South Africa. We need everybody in the context of, you know, buying local, supporting local for the betterment of our own economy as a people. All righty, Shivani, that's a cue for us to say hello to you.
Good afternoon, Happy. How are you doing?
Hello, Shivani. Well, thanks. How are you?
Good. It's lovely to see you.
Lovely to see you. You look stunning, but your glasses are intimidating me. You look
Well,
like a
you know, the future is bright. We gotta
I'm
keep
like,
focusing,
yay,
right?
I must now pay attention. Lovely to see you, Shivani. So Shivani is Commercial Director, National Association for the Automotive Component and Allied Manufacturers, NACAM, correct?
Correct.
For
So Happy, we're the guys that make the little bits and pieces that go off to the OEMs. So everything from seating systems, dashboards, interior trim, that's all our people.
Fantastic. I feel like saying to you, yeah, Shivani, from one industry to the next, from local government to car parts.
But the local is the common thread, right?
That's the common thread. Local is the common thread. Fantastic to see you, Shivani. We'll chat to you again just now. Our fourth guest, may I please have Janine van der Post on screen. Hello, Janine. Hey.
Hi, Happy.
How are you? I'm well, thanks. How are you, Janine?
I'm good, thank you.
That car behind you, shall I do that to you now? Is it a local
You
one?
can.
Okay.
Unfortunately not, but you can buy them, yeah? It's a Porsche Panamera.
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. No problem. Yeah. At least you had a ready-made answer for me. No problem. So Janine is editor, Wheels 24. How did you, isn't that a predominantly male position, so to speak?
You could say so, yes. I'm the first female editor at Wheels 24, and Wheels 24 has been around for about 20 years or so. Yeah. And yeah, I'm very proud to be the first female editor at Wheels 24. And the industry itself, motoring journalists, is just a handful of female, like full-on female motoring journalists. Yeah. For years, I'd go to car launches and I'd be the only woman there. But now it's not so bad anymore. There are a few women, but there are still days where you rock up and you're the only girl there.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you to hold it right there and give you a queen's clap, because being the you know, the first woman to navigate that space, you know, in the media world is quite commendable. We'll chat to you just now again, Janine. Thank you so much. Great to see you again. Fantastic.
Thanks, Happy.
Alrighty. So, ladies, we get to the crux of the matter, and now we're going to chat to. I feel, who do I pick on?
Anyone.
Okay.
We're ready for you.
Ready?
You're ready. You were born ready.
Oh, yes.
You were born ready.
Born
So-
ready with a crown.
Yeah, born ready with the crown.
Never
Exactly.
remove the
But it
pride,
does.
has it?
But it does need a bit of fixing now and then.
Absolutely.
Am I correct? Because at some point it goes skew.
Yeah.
And somebody must come in just a little bit, just a teeny weeny little bit, and you know, just to. We will be joined later on, by the way, by another guest. Her name is Claire, and Claire is called the Gadget Girl.
Wow.
Yes, she's called the Gadget Girl. So when I was reading up on her the other day, I was like, really? So I can't wait to hoy those questions her direction and hear how she, you know, how she navigates this. Alrighty, so I am going to go to, I feel like I want to go to, okay, Abu.
Yes.
Okay, shall we?
Let's go for it.
So here, we will be getting questions and comments from the public domain, by the way. I encourage those of you who are sitting out there who are listening to us, please send your questions and comments to any of the speakers in no particular order. You're very welcome to do that. The idea is not to have a discussion amongst ourselves. It's about, you know, everybody must be part of this organized, beautiful chaos, so to speak. How is technology keeping up in respect to the automotive industry, in your view?
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I remember earlier on, you mentioned something about production. And you said we're moving from 600 cars to about 1.2 million?
600,000.
600,000.
Yeah.
So essentially what it is that we've doubled production. So what does that mean? One of the things that we need to be mindful of is that digitization of processes through technology allow manufacturer to be able to do that, because now they can process and produce many cars. One of the things that I was actually thinking about as you were talking, it was around 4IR. And I've realized that 4IR has got a significant impact on how we design and how we produce, and more importantly, how we manufacture. Motors or vehicles have gone into a thing. Now it's no longer about a means of transportation. Now it's a machine that is so intelligent, that is able to be so smart, that it knows exactly how to keep you safe. At the same time, it's about how do you create IoT, digital transformation that allows everybody who's driving to understand the driver behavior. But more importantly, look at all of those industries, like insurance company. Now they can look at the behavior of human beings, and they can actually look at your risk and be able to identify and define and pre-define exactly how you will move going forward. Think about it. Right now, everybody talks about self-driving. What Neuro has done, they have changed the game completely in terms of how you deliver things. Now you no longer have that gentleman or that woman who knocks into your door and say, here's your delivery. You've got a driveless, self-driving car stopping in front of your doorstep. Now what does that mean? It means retail stores, big retail stores, drug companies are now using these same companies to be able to drive and to be able to deliver to our customers and to our people. Now, what does that mean? It means technology has absolutely transformed the way we work, the way we function, but more importantly, the way we produce things, particularly not only in the motor industries and other verticals as well.
Mm-hmm. So, you are Chief Revenue Officer, Sizwe IT.
Absolutely.
Day-to-day responsibilities, you walk in and then?
I walk in and everybody say, boss lady. I joke.
Okay. That's also okay.
I walking into my day, I work for one of the most phenomenal company in the country. And it's safe to say it is proudly South African.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Founded 20 plus years ago, and we're still going. On a day-to-day basis, my role really is to look at market growth. How do we grow our market using sales leaders and sales teams that are able to do that for us? But more importantly, it's about how do we create customer innovation and solve problems for our customers. We're talking about the motor industry today. How do we make the motor industry more efficient? Using technology, using processes, and using people. And again, one of the things that we are so proud of, and I do on a day-to-day basis, it's all about taking the Sizwe brand to higher heights. So we use marketing initiatives, particularly digital marketing, to be able to showcase who we are as Sizwe. So in a nutshell, I wake up and make sure that we grow from one to higher heights, and that's what I do. Thank you.
Fantastic. Don't say thank you. I'm not done with you. You're quick to say thank you. I want to do. Amen. But you touched on something that gives me a nice fuzzy feeling. So Sizwe IT, you're right, is a proud member of the Proudly South African campaign. You keep renew. I think it's about 5 years now.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And just saying that, I'm giving a side eye to Carissa, because I mean, you cannot be assembling and manufacturing an X3,
yeah,
and you are not a member of the Buy Local movement. We'll have that discussion offline. So, Carissa, how has BMW South Africa embraced transformation in the industry?
Oh, wow. I think transformation is quite broad. You spoke about the master plan. I think that is one of our key pillars. And it's really, we need to drive local content.
Yes.
Yeah, to get from the 600,000 to the 1.2 million. And Shivani and I actually work quite closely together to drive local content, but to actually do so sustainably. So I think that for me is the first element around transformation. The second one for me is around people. We have to make sure that we drive transformation, diversity, inclusion within our workforce. We are proudly South African, and our workplaces need to start representing the demographic of who we are. So from those two aspects, in my daily job, I focus on transformation, not only within the organization, but within the industry and within the workplace as well.
And so key. You can't even begin to deal with any other aspect of the industry or of your operation without looking at the realities of transformation in the workplace, right? Yeah. Which then takes me to my next the point that I want to make. Do women in your space of operation play a significant role, particularly in the sector perceived to be a man's world?
We do. I will remind Ntabi about a lovely story about a wire car. Please ask her about it.
Okay.
She has a lovely
story. She has a story. Okay.
Yes. But I think it's so critical. I think as women in the auto industry, we bring a different perspective. We bring a different voice to the table. And it's so critical. I'm also the first female chairperson of the Automotive Manufacturers Employers Organization.
Hang on. Royal clap. We gave one to Jean, I'm giving one to you. Okay. Yeah.
So I think it's so important that really we start to drive, again, it's about gender, it's about transformation, it's about diversity of thought, about different perspectives to the table. And we really drive that conversation and that diversity within our organization in terms of our programs. Yes. I think Ntabi will also mention to you that I think she was a successful graduate out of our program. So we really drive it from the ground up through our artisan programs, through our graduate programs, through our student programs, to really start to make women comfortable in the workplace, yeah. Really speak about the barriers to entry, and have those honest conversations in terms of how we can support each other to become meaningful participants within this industry.
Yeah, but you know, and what I take out of that amongst the many points you've made is that it's not a tick box exercise. No. You're walking the talk. You know, I think when I ask you a question, you light up because you're in a hurry to answer. Because of course, what do you mean? How can you even ask that? I get that type of vibe, which is amazing, which is great stuff. So, how male dominated is the industry?
Very male dominated. Yeah. So I'm the only female on the board at the moment. Okay. And it is, I mean, I think we have a journey. And I think we have to, as I said, drive those conversations. Yes. We have to, as women, support each other to debunk the generalizations about women in the workplace.
Yes.
And we need to start, you know, just shape and transform. I think what is quite critical as well is for our male counterparts to support us. Yeah. We're not going to get that maximizing effect without our male counterparts as well saying we shouldn't be, 10 years from now, we shouldn't be talking about gender diversity. No. We shouldn't.
No, we shouldn't. Yeah? We shouldn't. Yeah.
So I think that's so important to also have sponsors within your organization, within industry, that is going to drive this conversation forward and really look to meaningfully transform.
So I've just spotted a line here that says that you're an admitted attorney with 10 years experience in, I feel like I must now be, see now, you are spoiling the vibe. Now I'm like,
one of those traditional professions that you mentioned in the beginning. But really, I think what I've done with my law degree is I actually did law to be an advocate for people. And I've really found my home and my heart in HR because I've been able to leverage my legal degree to drive the right conversations. Yeah? Knowledge is power. Yeah? Don't talk to me about transformation. I know that Employment Equity Act inside out.
I know what I'm talking about.
So, yeah, I think I've really been able to leverage my law degree and really try and shape meaningful change. I think I'm sure you can see I'm very passionate about transformation and diversity and inclusion. You know, we have to start bringing our whole selves to work. And that's, I think, quite important as well.
And before we bring in Ntabi Singh, you said Ntabi. I quite like that. I have a friend whose name is Ntabi Singh, and I call her Ntabi, so it feels like home.
Yes.
Into the discussion. We've got archives at Proudly South African. So
oh no.
But it's good archives.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll give you a smile on your face. We've got archives. We went looking for you, but we have a history, and that's why I'm thinking. But it makes sense. We already, joined at the hip. We cousins. We must continue doing this work together. So we've done amazing things with BMW. At the time, you were manufacturing the 3 Series at the time. We've had a massive fashion show, local fashion show at the Mall of Africa.
Okay.
There were a few of your cars there. It was, access to market for some of our members, but we were also showcasing the work you do. What else have we done? We've had you at our flagship event that happens every year in March at the Sandton Convention Center, the Summit by Local Summit and Expo. At that event, we have more than 200, quite a lot of local products and local services. And we've had your car on display there. We had the first citizen sit in your car, and we got Morning Live to interview him. Well, he was the deputy then, but same story, same person. You know, sat in the car with one of your colleagues, Edward.
Yes, yes.
You see,
we're a BMW family.
We are. Edward was there with us, took the president through what how the whole process of manufacturing that car. Amazing, amazing interaction we've had with BMW in the past. Please remember that when I call on you again and say, please let's have a chat. I'll come, nicely and ask nicely because it makes sense that we work together. And I'm glad to see you work with Shivani.
Yes.
It's a nice circle, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, which is fantastic. Ntabi, you there? Where's Ntabi? There we go. Ntabi saying, I have been advised by Carissa. She says I must ask you about the wire car. She says you have a nice story.
Actually, so many things that you alluded here, I can relate to them. So one of my story when I was young, and then I also highlighted in one of our event at work, is that I used to like playing with cars and building cars with wires. So following my brothers everywhere they go, and then I managed to learn and teach myself how to build one. And then ultimately, I'm here building the actual car and being part of also decision making in the industry.
Oh, wow. So you were that little girl following the boys around?
Being chased, with stones. No, go home, And I'm like, no, I'm coming.
So when you saw that montage with the wire cars, it took you to a special place, right?
Yes. And those days it was, as a little girl and also as a little boy, you dream, And this also showed me that when you dream and you dream big, it can be true, no matter what. No matter what are the circumstances, no matter what is your situation, it's up to a person and also the people behind you, to ensure that you reach that dream. So, and I am the story to say I am one of those who had dreams, and then everyone made it possible, including in the firm itself.
Fantastic. So Ntabi saying, give us a sneak preview into your day-to-day work. So you walk in the plant, and what happens?
I walk in my heels.
Yes, in your heels. Well, and your crown. And your crown.
Yes, I walk in my heels, and so I've started, maybe let me just give a brief background. I've started I was young into the year 2000, and I started working as an ordinary operator assembling cars on the line, and I moved from different lines to lines and different positions. And I must say also, I'm the first woman to be in the leadership in production, a Black woman to be in a leadership production. And it's about also...
Hold up, Ntabi saying hold up. Yeah. The royal clap. Everybody gets a royal clap. Great, fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah, so up to from different ranks, from a team lead, being an artisan. Carissa also mentioned that I was one of the ladies that went through a BMW program. So I did also my technician program with BMW for 3 years, and from there I became a technician in the plant, process leader, which is a team leader, production engineer. It's between process leader and team leader, and now I'm a production manager where I'm responsible for 600 to 700 people reporting to me and building cars. So on my daily basis, I come in at work and I'm responsible for ensuring that the strategy of BMW is cascaded down. And then, of course, also building this phenomenal, beautiful X3 And I've also had an opportunity to build different models as well, from E90. By then we used to call it G something, and up to the X3 that one of our audience will win later. So I'm a proud person to say I've assembled the unit from paint shop, when it comes from paint shop up to when it goes out to our customers. So that's what I do on a daily basis. So I have a team behind me that is very supportive, and mainly male team. I have only one lady that is one of my team member. However, I'm getting all the support from all the male associates in the plant.
So in Garangua, do they say Udeze? Or is it only in Mamelodi?
Boss lady.
Boss lady.
Boss lady ka mofemeng. I'm the boss lady. They call me the boss lady.
The boss lady. Let me tell you, I'm dizzy. I am completely dizzy. You know what you've shared with us. Firstly, you know, you are managing about 600, I think you said, staff complement on the floor. Number one. You know, yeah, no, I don't know how you do it, but it gets done clearly. But also, you know, your process in the business. You've been involved in manufacturing a lot of other brands, and you are here now. And I see you joined the company 2001. Is that correct?
2000. Yeah. I've been with the company for 21 years now.
Yeah. Okay. For 21 years.
Yes.
For 21 years. I think you should now start.
I'm not giving away my age, but I've been with the company for long.
We will not go there. We won't go there. But what I feel like saying is that they must name a car after you now.
Exactly. You know, please tell them, Carissa, what do you think? They say you're part of the furniture, but can I be part of the door at least?
Can you at least be part of the review mirror? Like Ntabi review mirror, or the seat, or something. Something in the car must be, has to have your name on it. Yeah, 21 years in the industry. Do you come from a family that was also in the automotive industry, except the wire cars and, you know, your brothers being exemplary to you?
No, my story is actually surprising. I used to do, you know, in school, local schools, you do modelings over and over. So my mom started investing in, you are missing something, you know. And my mom started, and then my mother, and my mother started investing in modeling lessons and so forth. Yes. And yeah, I ended up being a modeling teacher. And when I was in matric, I said, but I don't get any joy. It's about passion. Carissa also mentioned passion. Yeah, yes. It's about passion. What am I passionate about? You know. And then I researched as well. We used to have guidance classes by then. Where you would have visitors in school, and they will give you different career moves. And I thought, I'm not a studying type. You also mentioned that it's not about teaching our children that you have to go to university and university and university. I don't like really sitting down and studying. So I said, okay, there's an opportunity for me to go to a college where I can work with my hands, but I can also have theory behind it. And that's what I did. And then from there, I was also employed as an operator in BMW. And that's where it started. You know, I didn't have anyone behind my career move. It's just what I was passionate about. I love cars. I've always loved cars. Fast cars, you know, everyone loves fast cars. And then BMW was always one of the favorite cars because of I grew up in Garangua, and everyone worked in Nissan or BMW. Yeah. And I wanted to work in one of the motor industry. And I used to enjoy seeing, by then we used to call them mechanic cars, you know, somebody takes a car to Bramamang
Yes,
and they
down
fix
the
the
road.
cars. And I used to also go around and try to see if I can assist and be full of oil. So I enjoyed such things. So yeah, that's where my drive and my passion comes from.
Okay, fantastic. And before I talk to Janine, there's somebody on Zoom, and Lerato's her name. Question to Ntabi. Well, it's not a question, but it's a nice thing to know. Amazing boss lady. You are such an inspiration. Do you know this person?
Lerato from?
Ndlovu.
Doesn't say.
Her name is Lerato Ndlovu, and she says you're an amazing boss lady.
Oh, thank you very much.
Okay, and I've also.
I think I know Lerato. Yes.
You think
Thanks.
did you pay her to phone us and tell us that
No,
you are?
but you should be happy that everyone is viewing this.
I know. I'm very happy, and I think it's a nice comment for you because it's no joke. Taking care of 600 people every day, it takes a special kind of person. I can tell you that for free. And you have such a calm demeanor, which is fantastic, which is great.
And I also have been taken care of in BMW. So the support that I get as well, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And because we can't do the silo, hey? We need the help here. When your crown goes this way, somebody needs to come and kind of like fix her crown for you. I've just been educated. Hey guys, you see, you've got to behave on these platforms. Rakadi tells me, Makumalo, Mamelodi diapopa. And then, wait, anyway, but Mamelodi diapopa. It's not, because I asked you earlier, Udesena, and Rakadi says, no, ko Mamelodi diapopa. I don't know ko Karangua Khwetsagalang, but we'll have that, that discussion. There's quite a few questions that are specific to the sector. I spotted two for you, Carissa. There's one for you, technology lady.
Yes.
But we're going to go to Janine. Janine, please, may we have Janine on screen? Thanks, Ntabi. We'll be back. Don't go away, please. Hey, Janine. Hi. So, what are you a careful driver?
Now that I'm a mom, yes.
Now that you're a mom. Before that, what happened?
Now, I've always been a careful driver, but my nickname is Speed Queen, so that's a bit self-explanatory. But once you become a mom, the cruise control goes on, eh?
Yeah, no, a lot of things change.
But I'm a very careful driver, even if I'm driving fast.
Okay, fantastic. So you did allude to the fact that Wheels24 is the country's largest motoring website, and you are in charge. You're the boss lady there.
That's nice.
And in your world and in your view, how significant is transformation now that you're the first female, editor there? What are you going to do about it?
Well, for starters, like I've only been editor for less than 2 years now. Just before coronavirus broke out here in South Africa, I was the editor for probably only about 2 months or so.
Yes.
And I immediately started a Woman in Wheels section because, every month in August or every August month, we showcase and we put a spotlight on women. But I thought, let's do this right through the year. So our Women in Wheels section is there permanently, not just for August. And we're always doing stories about women in motoring. So yeah, it's very important. I think, like I said, when I started, there was a handful of female motoring journalists. You'll see them occasionally on launches, and now it's grown. And when we do attend these events, there's quite a few of us. So, and we have our own sisterhood. The female motoring journalists are quite close. We all get along. There's no cattiness. And I think it's important, and we all support each other, we help each other. So yeah.
And what was the reaction of your male colleagues when you got appointed to this position?
I think there was definitely some resistance from some because men always think they can do a better job. And they think because you're a woman, you don't know what you're doing. I especially got that when I started out in the industry when I was very young, almost 20 years ago. And I was literally asked, what do you know about cars? What do you, as a little brown girl, know about motoring? I was asked those questions. Even as little as 2 years ago, I was told rather, don't use the excuse that your mother to not be a good manager. So there's still that resistance that comes in. But I think I've always also been in teams where I was the only woman, number one, and then I was the only woman who had a daughter or was married. So my colleagues that I was working with didn't quite understand what it's like to be a family woman, that you have to work and then you still have to be a mom and a wife at the same time, all the time.
Mm.
You know, the other day I was doing a webinar and I had a pot of food cooking on the stove. And even now I've got to like bribe my daughter to stay inside while I'm doing my job. So yeah, I think there's a lot more acceptance. Men understand more and they're a lot more tolerant to share the space. And I think for me, I've just always been lucky in my regard, as difficult as what it was, because you have to almost work harder to prove yourself, to show that you know what you're doing. And and I spoke about this because I really suffered a lot with imposter syndrome. Um, for almost my first year as editor, I kept thinking I'm not good enough. I'm not gonna, our stats aren't gonna be good. Our stats are gonna drop. How am I gonna keep maintain and make us grow? Um, but I've been doing that, and I've got a great team who are very supportive. I've got a staff, one of my writers, he lets my daughter paint his nails. So he understands what it's like to have a little person who demands your attention while you're doing work. And especially working from home has been
Yeah.
so challenging as well.
Yeah, yeah, and I think all of us can relate to that as as panelists on the in this discussion. That somewhere along the line, you do tend to doubt yourself, right?
Absolutely.
You do think about it and think maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe there's somebody else who can do it better than me, because you keep hearing the voices when things don't quite go according to plan. But then you dust yourself off again and you get up and you do this thing. Because nobody said
Yes.
it was going to be easy. But Janine, why are you running away? Oh, there you are.
Yeah.
So obviously from the love of cars, and then ending up writing about cars, and what fascinates you about cars? I mean, what. You know what I mean? I think we all like to drive a nice car, like an X3. You know what I mean? Yes. And but you are within. You are into this thing. Yeah. What fascinates you about cars?
I, there's not one thing about it. And I think no one also, like as Ntabi said, no one pushed you into this career and this path of motoring. I've always loved cars from being a very little girl, um, growing up and being a teenager. My mother would shout at me, come to the kitchen and watch and learn how I'm cooking, because I would always be outside with my dad and watching what my dad and my cousins were doing under the bonnet. And then when I was old enough, I started going to dices, illegal street racing.
Yes.
And then I bought my first car. I speak about it because we also ignorant when we are young. So now I can promote safety and racing on the
Sure.
racetrack,
Sure.
and why you shouldn't do it on the street, because I've witnessed so many accidents that I myself said, nah, I'm not going anymore. Um, but I think even now, if someone asks me how much, you assume that I would know so much about cars. I honestly don't. I love cars, and yes, I know about cars.
Yes.
But because motoring and as Avi also said, even the production of cars, it's not just a car, it evolutionizes all the time. And cars are always changing, the technology is always changing. So every day as a new car comes, you're learning new things all the time. But I think it's just the thing that fascinates me most is that being in a car, and I love driving. My parents would drive to the West Coast every weekend because my mom's from there. They drove to Cape Town every day because they were teachers. So long drives was always, I think that's where it just came from, being in the car a lot. And that's my solace, getting the car and taking a drive, you know? So
Remind me who
it's
to
just,
call up on the next time I want to go on a road trip. She's that girl. She's that girl. Talk about technology before I bring Shivani in. I want to ask you this. In your opinion, is South Africa's vehicle manufacturing keeping up with new technologies to match the global trends, in electric cars and so on and so forth?
well, I think we're definitely on the right path. Obviously, South Africa, like for example, Toyota and BMW and so forth, we've got plants that are matching cars that are being exported to so many countries. And I think if we were that behind, or if we were even behind at all, our export numbers wouldn't be good like they are now. Um, and while I think our infrastructure in general in South Africa is lacking to support electrical vehicles, we're definitely on the right path. And I think it takes people like us to inform people, um, and to experience those things and let them know. I drove an electric vehicle the other day, and we actually had to check where can I go and charge this car before I can just drive to the Swartland to go visit family, is there a charging station? So that kind of thing. I think it takes people just need to be informed and educate a little bit more, because the first thing you think of electrical vehicles, they think, hi bo Eskom, we can't charge vehicles, if we have load shedding all the time. And you don't need to charge a car the entire day. So it's all about informing the public, and yeah, I think we right definitely on the right path.
Yeah, yeah. And when you were driving that car, didn't you feel like, because I just feel like at the rate we're going as the globe, one of these days the likes of Carissa and them are going to end in Tabby, going to manufacture cars that just flies us to somewhere. You know what you know what I mean? One day we will blink and there will be a car where you just from Johannesburg to Pretoria and you are there and you flew over the freeway.
Yeah. Look, Happy, electric cars are not slow. They might be electric, but they are extremely fast. But obviously they don't have battery diet, so it doesn't mean they're slow.
Don't tell us that. Too much information. Now we want to go try that car and put our foot on it just to see how fast it can go. Thank you, Janine. Please don't go away. Shivani, may we please have Shivani on screen? There we go. So you do realize that I avoided reading everybody's bio because we'll finish at 5 o'clock. And yours is also that kind of bio. But where I want to start is, what do you do, Shivani, at Nakam? What do you do on a daily basis?
Yeah. So I think my boss may be on the line, so I must be careful to say we constructively drive the auto component sector forward. No, I kid you. My portfolio is quite large, but I think primarily I'm responsible for driving our localization and transformation initiatives in the sector. Carissa mentioned earlier, for us, localization is a huge push and a priority. A large number of the components that are used in a vehicle are currently imported. And from where we sit in an ArCam space, I think there are phenomenal South African engineering companies that have the capability to make these components, to produce at world-class levels. But like most things, they need a little bit of a nudge and they need a little bit of support. So through our office, we run a number of supplier competitiveness initiatives, upgrading initiatives to help us unlock those barriers to localization. But I want to tell you a funny story, if you'll indulge me, boss lady, about the importance of having women in the sector. So when I first started this job, I had a supplier come to me. I think this man was a little bit skeptical of my team's ability and his skill. And he sort of gave us a challenge to say, these are impossible components to localize. Let's see what you can do for us. So he posted us a box of these components. He said, no one has been able to localize them. Let's see what you can do. So my colleague Nozipo and I sit, we open this box, we look at the components, and immediately we look at each other and we have a giggle, because there's one component in there called a pivot ring. And if you look at it, it looks very similar to the underwire in your bra, but instead of a half circle, it was a whole circle. Right? Okay. So Nozipo and I are sitting there and happy, we buy local, we know local. So we know that there are local bra manufacturers in this country. So Nozipo gets on the phone, she calls Triumph, she calls Playtex and says, guys, where do you get your underwire from? Just, out of interest. They find this little Cape Town based engineering shop, family-owned business. They've been at it for 25 years. And so Nozipo says, have you thought about supplying something in autos? And this guy thought she was joking. But we went out, we visited him. He's now currently supplying into the auto sector. So I think for us, it kind of highlights the importance of having just a different point of view. I mean, clearly men have been driving these localization projects. They didn't join the connection. So from where we sit, I think, from our experience, I think many people are skeptical. My team is young, it's all female, but I think, you've just got to be not afraid to try, ask silly questions, put yourself on the spot. And for us, I think it's yielded some good dividends. So even in the transformation space, I think Carissa will tell you, there are very few people, I think, that can categorically say they know what they're doing and they have a solid plan and it's going to work. I think a lot of the time we're doing this on the fly, on the cuff, and I think it presents a really nice opportunity for women to own a space, take ownership of an initiative and drive it forward. And luckily for us, from where I sit in the component supply base, we have a huge number of automotive allies. We did a campaign with them last Women's Month, men in the component sector acknowledging women in their businesses that have done innovative things, strategic things that have driven a different kind of outcome. So I'm really grateful to be working in a space where I have a lot of these men supporting us.
What a wow. Talking about taking the leap of faith, I mean, who would have thought that family business that's been operating for over 21 years, that guy must have thought, what do you mean? Have I, supplied the automotive industry with the
And listen, Happy, he was hysterically laughing for 5 minutes. And he's like, guys, it's a bit late in the year for April Fool's joke. Hey, nice one. But a bit late in the year.
Which brings me to an issue that I've always struggled with. And because we women who are discussing this issue, you've just mentioned the bra. I believe whoever came up with the idea of a bra or how to make it was a man who has no idea when it comes to comfort. And I mean, that's the first thing I throw away, literally. Park my car at home and do this thing, and as I walk into the house, it's in my hand. Don't ask me questions. That's how uncomfortable this thing is. Those wires are, don't you think, please, anybody can comment and please be with me here.
I'm not happy. That's the first thing I take off. Then my shoes.
Listen, that's the
I
first thing.
walk in my shoes even when I'm cooking, my high heels. I walk with them. I don't take them off, and then I just be reminded as well. I would rather not have to wear any bra.
Yeah. No, listen, guys. And this is why I think it was a man in the forefront whenever it was, when the idea came to the fore, and they thought it's a great idea, it's comfortable. They don't have to wear it. Maybe they should for one day, 24 hours, and see what happens. They must tell us, come back and tell us the story. But I thought, I've always wondered, who was it? Because I've never come across one that is the most comfortable, that I can sleep with. And you know what I mean?
It's the most expensive. Still not comfortable.
Nah, it's not about the price tag. It's that wire.
That wire was made for the motor industry.
It was for the car. How did it end up on our bodies? That's the problem right there. But Shivani, so is the sector one in which new entrants are investing? If you were to suggest a great new business model to someone, what would it be?
I think, happy for us, we're at a really interesting time in the South African automotive sector. I mean, you've mentioned the master plan. We've just sort of reviewed the incentive policy. So this is called the APDP2 and the AIS2. And the policy, I think, is a really good piece of work by the Department of Trade and Industry. It's actively driving a requirement for these big component manufacturers and OEMs to get to a BEE level 4. So there's this mad dash for people to dramatically improve their scorecards. What we've seen is an opportunity. We've got big multinational tier 1 suppliers who 5 years ago would never have thought about localizing, they would never have thought about capacitating a Black-owned supplier, are now coming to me and saying, find me one of these suppliers. I want to work with them. I want to invest with them. For us, the challenge is the number of these suppliers is really small. I think one of my colleagues is probably listening in on the call. She works in the space. There are probably less than 15 Black-owned suppliers currently actively supplying productive procurement opportunities into the auto sector. So we spend a lot of our time, what was that, Happy?
In the country,
yeah, actively supplying into an OEM value chain. It's less than 15 of them, right?
That's a crisis.
And it's a crisis, right? So the master plan is saying 25% of all gross value addition must come from Black-owned tier 2 and tier 3 suppliers. So it's a quarter of the value addition in the sector. So what we've had to do is, learning from that BRA experience, we've realized there are probably strategic industrialists in other sectors where they've got an embedded competency, they have a capacity, they understand quality, to migrate them across to the automotive sector. And that's been what my team has been doing over the last 2 years. They're going into rail and aviation and maritime mining equipment and finding these suppliers. I mean, we've got suppliers that are making sailplanes and exporting them into Europe. I mean, if it's possible for us to do that, why can't we localize automotive components? So from where we sit, if I was an industrialist in any space, I mean, we've migrated clothing and textile into auto. We've done you've heard about the bras, we've done the rail, we've done aviation. It's possible. So if I was a budding Black industrialist, the field is wide open. You've just got to put your hand up and say, I'm willing to put in the work and, do your shift. The opportunities are there. And I think Carissa and the other OEMs, they've all contributed to something called the Auto Industry Transformation Fund. This is the 6 billion Rand fund that has been set up specifically to capacitate Black-owned new entrants into the auto sector. So I think the infrastructure, the systems, the funding schemes exist. I think it's now just us finding this sort of next wave of auto industrialists, which is what we all need to sort of pull together and do.
Okay, fantastic. So before we take off our professional hats and have what I call a laid-back type of discussion about all the things that make us feel fuzzy, the things that evoke the femininity in us, how we then fix each other's crowns, even in the workplace, when it comes to our teams, in our respective offices, when it comes to home. Before we are the boss lady, so to speak, you're a sibling, you're a daughter, you are a sister to somebody, you're an aunt, you're a friend. What does the circle of sisterhood mean to you? I know I need it. I'd go completely mad without my close circle of sisterhood. But before we do that, is Claire with us? Okay, Claire's with, but let's just take 2 comments from the audience. I think our audience will get a bit frustrated with us. But before I do that, I want to pay the bills. Thank you so much to BMW South Africa for partnering with us today and giving us that lovely prize. By the way, competition, that reminds me, competition. Answer that question. How many BMW plants do we have in South Africa? And also thank you so much to Sizwe IT, for partnering with us today. So Carissa Gift on Zoom says, how do you feel when you see a TV advert of BMW? Actually, Ntabi must also tell us, how do you feel? You're sitting on your couch and then, boom.
I think proud, because I've always said that cars don't build themselves. People build cars.
Yes,
people. And I think I've worked with so many, wonderful people over the years. And when I see an ad, I'm really proud because I know the people and the hands that have gone into those vehicles.
Yes.
And so for me, it's about, the memories, the friendships that we've had over the years and the struggles that we've had to, get cars out of the plant. I think that for me, just what inspires me every day, just to be part of the industry.
And I relate to it. It's about the people. It's that argument during hard lockdown when everybody came out to say, my industry is affected the most. And I was like, hang on, guys, for 1 second. There is no industry without human beings.
Absolutely.
It is the human beings that are affected the most. It's the households. It's the people who have lost their jobs, who have to go home to human beings who are families to say, I don't know how I'm going to buy food for you this month because I've just been laid off. It's the human beings. There's no BMW X3 without the people, like you say. There isn't. So it's the people. It's the human beings. Thank you so much. And then Fast and the Furious. Oh, he's calling you the Fast and the Furious. Gift is ungovernable. Gift M says these are the Fast and Furious boss ladies, and I agree with it. There's somebody who wants to know how to get into the sector. Cindy Shabangu says, what is it like being a woman in the automotive industry? Are there any initiatives that help our rising stars in the country in paving their way into the industry? Who would like to take that? Ntabi? There we go. So Ntabi, Cindy wants to know, are there initiatives that you can possibly share that help young people in the country in paving their way into the industry?
To start with, I think at the moment, the government is also sponsoring our young kids in after matric with NSFAS, and we know that we have EVET programs as well that you can also be sponsored by the government. And yes, if you are in a advantageous space, you can also get bursaries from different companies. So there's so many ways where you can really go around. It's up to a person whether you want to grab the opportunity or not. So before, I think it was challenging because of more people were not educated, but now young kids with social media, with sharing, they always share all this advertisement of companies needing people in different industries. I think it's the same also for motor industry and automotive industry. And like with BMW, before it used to be an internal sourcing, but now that we know if there is a post internally for being a graduate, being a person that needs to be employed and work on the line, we go externally where everyone has an opportunity, and it's not only geographically orientated, is open to everyone. Of course, when you are capable and then you go through the different interviews or assessments, then it is possible. But what I'm saying is that you cannot just sit at home being a girl or a boy and say, there's nothing, the government is not doing anything. It's up to us as well, and get mentors. One thing that we are not taught as well from a young age is that you need to have a mentor in your life where somebody push you in the right direction or support what you really want to achieve. So it's one of the things also that I'm driving as a woman, to also mentor young girls to also achieve what they they want to achieve, whether being a different sector or different career move. I think it's possible.
Okay, fantastic. There you go, Cindy. That's your answer. So Carissa told us earlier, Ntabi, that when she sees a commercial, a BMW commercial, she, she smiles on her own, and she feels, a sense of pride. How do you feel? You've now been involved in the process. You've seen the car. You've seen components lying around in the plant. And then before you know it, there's a car, and then you see it on television. Yeah.
I must say I'm also very proud. I'm happy that I'm part of BMW journey, especially BMW South Africa, and moreover because we are BMW and we're not just building cars. We're doing more than just building cars. We are also involved in so many activities, in South Africa in terms of charity and also fundings type of things. And also for our families to be part of because if I'm here, then there's somebody behind me, and the associates on the line, there's somebody behind them as well that's supporting them to be here. So like as Carissa said, it's more about people, but not only people that are giving cars, but behind the people that also behind the people that are building cars. But I'm proud to say BMW is more than building cars. It's there for the people.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, I think even being proud is an understatement, because I can imagine, it's a big deal. It really is a big deal to be part of that whole process, and ultimately the value chain, and then also ultimately taking care of households. It's really about that. May we please welcome Claire? Claire, is Claire on the line?
Hi, I'm here. Hi.
Hello, Claire.
Hi. My whole face is popped up. I need to change that.
No, you look great. We love the red behind you, and we love the red on your lips and on your fingers. Yeah.
Too much. That's me. Too much.
Welcome, Claire. Great to have you online. So you are the gadget lady.
I am the gadget gal.
The gadget girl. That's it. What does that mean? Now you're speaking big English. Now some of us are confused. Me, I want to know, what does gadget girl mean? Yeah.
Big English, I don't know. It's 3 letters. I tried to make it as simple as possible. Well, the thing is, I did think when I decided on the name, I didn't want to be a girl, because I kind of got to an age where I wasn't a girl anymore. So I wanted to be the gal. Yes. And that was kind of the direction I was going in with the gadget gal. And then later on, I found out there was a cartoon character called the gadget gal. So it was a bit too late to change the name by then. But with it, and that's me.
Claire, I think you have nice life problems. That whole situation you've just described. Now you want to think about changing your name. Maybe not. Somebody else has it. Blah blah blah. It's. Yeah. But
definitely bigger problems in the world. Let's be honest.
How did you get noticed by the car manufacturers as a tester for their vehicles? Did you actively go to the likes of BMW South Africa and said, hey, I'm here, I want to work with you? How did you get noticed?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's also what you were saying, the question that you had about how do we get into the industry and how do we, the thing is, you've got to push sometimes. And I think, I think maybe Janine will kind of maybe agree with me here. And as a journalist, you do, and as a woman sometimes as well, your confidence is maybe not always at a level where you think, I've got to push. But the thing is, if it's something you want to do and it's something you want to get into, you've definitely got to, find a way, make roads for yourselves. And as women, I think we all know that if something's not happening for you, you've got to find a way to do it for yourself. So that is sort of how I got into cars. And it was just by doing one or two, and then other brands, you can show what you've done for one, and then another brand will be like, okay, that's cool, let me see what you've got, so and that's how you start getting noticed. So if one of them will give you a chance, a whole bunch of other ones will probably do as well.
Yeah,
which
I think
nodding, I
answers,
can see nodding in the corner.
and which I think answers one of the questions somebody asked: how do you get into the industry? So there's multiple ways, and Tabby said earlier on, you can't. At times it's okay, and it's normal. I mean, we human beings, at times we're wired that way. You think, if somebody else does not give me an opportunity, what am I going to do? How am I going to, get into the industry? And it's as simple as, and maybe not simple, because for somebody else it might not be, but thinking outside of the box and be confident enough to say, hey, this is what I can do. I want to work with you and test drive your cars or tell people about your cars, right?
It's not only that. I mean, I talk to my husband about it all the time, and he is my biggest cheerleader, and we haven't been married, like I haven't been with him for that long. So years before him, I was, as resilient as I could be. For every yes I have had, I've probably had 100 no's before that. So you've got to be resilient. And again, I mean, I keep saying this, like they are, and women in this industry that we are in, it has been known to be male dominated, and we have to be resilient. We need to just take the nose on the chin and just be like, I will work until I get a yes. And that is exactly, and I feel that's why women are the way they are, because we just keep going and going and going until we get the yes, or until we get the right product, or until we make it, until and that's just how we do things. I think we just keep going. We pick up, we pull up our socks, we keep going, and that there's no time to just sit down, feel sorry for ourselves. We carry on, you know what I mean? And that's just how it goes.
Because nobody said it was going to be easy for any of us. And I think also the attitude is nobody owes you anything, honestly. So there are 100 no's that you've just alluded to. One yes came out of it, but it's just the name of the game. You try, you push, you try, you get rejected at some point, you cry about having an ugly cry. It's okay, women, it's okay, ladies, to have an ugly cry and dig into that whole tub of ice cream and feel sorry for yourself. But you can't do that for the whole week, right? Yeah, tomorrow you get up and go again like nothing happened. In your heels, like this one, she cooks in heels. Well, she's walking around in the kitchen with her heels on. So you forge ahead. But here's another thing, Claire. So it's two-pronged. First is, why don't you try out some of these gadgets and you're having fun? Because obviously there's got to be some element of love. And passion, so while you try all of those gadgets and you're driving cars around, you're making a living out of it, right?
So the difficulty for me as well is I also freelance. So what's been great for me is that I've been able to build a good sort of foundation to freelance for other people as well. So I can write for other magazines, or I can write for people, do their press releases, or go on the radio, or have do a little show here, or do a bit there, those kinds of things. So because you're not necessarily making the money from driving you're not being paid to drive that car. That review, especially in my case. I mean, if I was working for a magazine, that would be my job. I have a site, it's known as a blog, that kind of thing. I do a bit of YouTube, which eventually, when you have enough, which people think YouTube is the easiest thing. You get enough subscribers, you get enough views, and you make lots of money. That's not how it works either. That's also hard work. So, there's a lot of these things that people think it's so easy, you just do it, no problem. And the thing is, it depends where you want to, or how you can, hate to say it, but it's true, where you can hustle and where you can get that little bit of income. And that's what I do. I do a little bit of social media here for this person, and I do a little bit of writing here for that person, and that is where you make money. And the whole thing is that you are constantly in the game and playing the game, and that's what I'm doing. I'm writing for this one on a freelance basis, or I'm writing a press release for this person, or I'm speaking for that person, and that's where your income comes from.
Yeah. Okay. So before we go on an ad break, I mean, when you see this BMW advert shortly, this thing, if you don't feel like I've got to get up and go buy this car, then nothing is going to talk to you.
Oh, no,
you know,
please don't try.
after you see this commercial. But Claire, so I'm told, and I don't know if you agree with me, and please, that there's I hear, you know, I did a bit of research and I see that there's 5 gadgets that are ideal for the modern car and for a modern woman.
Oh, tell me, which are they?
Well, I'm going to tell you, but you must tell me whether I've gone off the cliff or I'm on the right track. I'm told it's a bag hook in the car.
In the boot.
In the boot.
Yes.
There we go. They agree. Yeah. I was like, hey, just now I'm... so, yes? Yeah. So the ladies are saying in the boot. It's got to be there.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, so I know what to do one of these days because I do not have it and I don't know what to do with my bag. Okay, the second gadget is a smart vehicle health monitor.
Okay, that's interesting. We've got to look into that.
Will you look into that? I'm no expert.
Yes.
I found it on Auntie Google.
So on my arm, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah, that'll be interesting, hey, because I can't figure it out. How is that supposed to, you know, does a thermometer come to your head and take your temperature while you drive? What part of health monitoring are they talking about? But it is there. Abba wants to say something.
Yeah, I want to say something. Actually.
Yeah.
It's one of the things that I believe from a technology point of view we need to come up with. So when I think about technology, I think about 2 things.
Yes.
One is safety.
Yes.
One is security.
Okay.
So in the safety side, think about it. If somebody just all of a sudden got a heart attack, that car must be able to be intelligent enough to know when to stop. Those are the kind of things that we should be thinking about.
Yeah. Abba, I think you've just exposed your age. Mama has gone to, remember that series on television, Michael Knight? Kit. Carissa, we all in the same WhatsApp group. Kit is going when you are, there's a heart attack coming.
20.
Kit knows there's a...
I'm still 20.
Yeah, okay, and we believe you. But Kit is the one. So I think we're talking about that kind of situation. You remember that car, Claire? Kit.
Kit is back.
Chicken Licken. Yes, Chicken Licken brought Kit back. Okay, the other gadget that I came across is a glass head-up display, HUD. Does that make sense to you? Yes. Any of you?
Yeah,
okay. You have it. BMW has it. Oh, geez, they're the leader of the pack. I mean, you are aware of it as well. HUD, obviously. Yeah. Yeah. And what happens there, guys? Okay, so some of us, I'm thinking, look, I mean, it's only, yeah. What happens?
Well, you literally see in the glass on the windscreen.
Yes.
How fast you're driving. Okay. It also enables you to see sort of if there are obstructions in the road. So it will alert you if there's an obstruction in the road. I mean, my son loves it. He thinks it's magic. Yeah. Because he keeps going, Mom, I can't see it. I know I have to drive. I have to look. But it actually shows your navigation as well. You know, on the windscreen.
Yeah.
I love that feature.
Wow.
Absolutely love the feature.
Yeah, it is the future.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And you feel futuristic.
Yeah, you feel
head-up display.
You don't know where you're going.
You feel like you're flying.
Yeah. Oh my word! So there is something like that. And then Claire, it says that is that Amazon Echo Auto is quickly replacing Alexa. So these are apps, right? That's my understanding. So quickly, listen, I can find another job one day, guys. When I'm done it proudly, as in 10 years of time. So it's quickly replacing Alexa. So Echo Auto connects to Alexa through your phone app. Now you can multitask from your driver's seat. Using this app, you can play music. You can make a call. You can find directions. While you have your hands on the steering wheel and your eyes on the road. How?
Good.
You speak to her.
How?
Yeah.
So do you,
yeah.
please go for it, Claire. What do?
You just speak.
You speak to who? To Kit?
Yes.
Okay.
To her and you instruct her. And you...
So and you instruct her
around. Great. And it'll listen, not like your husband. He's not here, so I can say what I want.
Is your husband listening because you're in trouble? Okay.
You'll listen later.
You'll listen later. Oh, Claire. Okay, so it listens. I mean, guys, I think this is a great invention. I want to be listened to. I want to be in my car, talk to somebody, even if they're not there, and I ask them, open the window. That window must be open.
Yes. And
I want to tell them fast track to track number 14 on the playlist. They must jump straight to Weekend Special by Brenda Fassie. You know what I mean? I want to... So there's an app. Okay, but which cars? Is it these fancy cars that I can't afford? Is it an X3?
Well, I don't know that the Amazon app is able to link.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. But I do know that we are able to sort of speak and say navigation on. We need to go here, and it plugs it in for you. I can say phone mom, and it phones mom.
No.
Yeah.
And any of you ladies, so you cannot have this app and you have a little person in your life.
No.
Because they'll tell this thing to do all sorts of flip over. Then the car flips.
Actually,
within reason. Within reason.
Lord. Okay, no, you must never introduce this app to your children. It's a problem. You know, because they'll always be saying something. And sometimes, you know, you want to be in the car in silence and things are happening. You can. What the part I love the most is the fact that you have your hands on the steering wheel and your eyes on the road, but there's things happening. I think a road trip to Durban 6 hours would be a walk in the park. You know, if you've got all of this, what else do you need? Honestly. Yeah. Okay. Claire, so you have you have a very interesting I don't want to call it a career because you freelance here, you do that. A very interesting life, you know, in as far as this is concerned. Okay, don't go anywhere. I'm sure there must be somebody out there in the public domain who wants to know, Claire, what are you doing? You know, what are you doing? So wait just 1 second, but while I look for questions, may I please ask that we play that BMW ad at this point? The BMW ad will be on screen now, but I'm going to comments and questions to see who's saying what and what the questions are and who they directed. There's a lot of questions, guys. There's a lot of questions.
This joy is electric. This joy is electric and we're circuiting through. I'm so happy that I'm alive. Happy I'm alive at the same time as you. Cause you've got a higher power. Got me singing every second, dancing every hour. Oh yeah, you've got a higher power.
Okay, may we have Ntabi on the online? Ntabi, this is to you and Carissa. Those are obviously electric cars. Do we have a plan?
Yes, a hybrid.
Hybrid. Okay, so do we have a plan as BMW South Africa to at some point? Do we have them currently?
We have them in the market, but we.
Okay.
Yes. Tabi can speak from a production point of view, but from a strategic point of view, we do have a plan to make sure that we get to be able to produce electrified vehicles someday in future. But I think Tabi can speak to some of the hybrid models as well.
Okay, fantastic.
Yes, for BMW South Africa, we do have a plan, and then soon, yay. In 2020 already in 2023 we'll be assembling the PHEV models and also the ICE car in South Africa. So
the ICE car, okay, hang on.
Yes,
the ICE car.
No,
the
what
ICE
does that
car.
mean?
Yes.
The HCOM. No,
it's sustainability.
It's a sustainability.
Are green.
Okay, there we go. Go ahead, Ntabi.
So it's more electrical. I don't know if in South Africa we do have manufacturing or industries that are building the hybrid cars, but I know they are building some of the industries that are building 48 volts, which South Africa we're already building. However, for us, it will be bringing what we are looking at the moment in terms of marketing. I think the suppliers will be looking at maybe more work job opportunities in terms of building components. And in terms of BMW Roslin, manufacturing will be using the same capacity. So it might have opportunities for local suppliers to also have more opportunities for people to get some job opportunities. So yeah, like Carissa said, at the moment we do have in South Africa the ones that are built overseas, like your i8, and we do at the moment in connection with the government as well, whether we are looking at the infrastructures. I think Janine also mentioned that is that people question if I drive from here going to Cape Durban like Somizi with his car, where does he charge? Do we have infrastructures as well? So that's what also we are looking to facilitate also with the government to ensure that people are educated and we have those infrastructures.
Because somebody does ask actually and says, where are the chargers? But I would imagine if you do have that car, you would, but for the information, you know, just for our information, but you've just alluded to that there are, you know, area, obviously you have to take it somewhere and charge it.
Yes.
Yeah, but you're not.
And you also have the mobile chargers as well that come with the vehicle. But for us for local people to, like when you go to Germany, you know, you'll find a charging station everywhere. Even when you're parking it outside, parking outside, you going to your flat, there is a charger there. But in South Africa, as a person, if I live in Pretoria Central, where am I going to charge my car if I don't have my own standalone place, you know? So those are the things that the company is also looking into with the government.
Okay.
Carissa, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I mean, I think from our side, we do have a plan, as Ntabi says, to really roll out infrastructure within South Africa. I think we cannot be fully electrified unless we have the structure and the infrastructure to support it. So also working with Shivani on looking at charging infrastructure as well within South Africa. So I think it's a huge opportunity. More so, I mean, if we cannot depend on electricity, we've got the sun. Yeah. So, I mean, if we can get solar powered, you know, charging infrastructure as well, I mean, I think that will be fantastic.
That'd be great. Hey, all right. May I please get both Janine and Shivani back on screen, because there's a question that I think both of them I'd like any of them to tackle. But talk about chargers. Earlier on, I mentioned the fact that we have such a great sense of humor in South Africa. It doesn't matter what we're going through, you know, it might be a difficult situation or whatever, but there's somebody who's always on standby with their phone and utilizing their data to come up with something crazy. I mean, look at the president's iPad that just, you know what I mean? That type of humor. So talking about chargers, there's a guy, so this is a video that's doing the round, and the image of the video is the South African police SAPS logo. The guy phones the police station. He says, hello, you know, and the image is written charge office. Charge office. Yeah. Did you hear that? For those of you who have not heard it, the guy phones the charge office and the police and says, hello, I need to charge my phone. I want to know if you've got a small charger or a big charger. The guy who's answering the phone must have thought, what the? He says, but what do you mean? We don't have chargers. Charge your phone. you've just phoned the police station. He says, yes, a police station. I phoned the charge office and I need a charger. This one says, no, we're a charge office. We deal with criminals and we deal with, you know. Then this one says, why don't you call yourself a criminal office then? Why do you call yourself a charge of the confusion in that discussion? You can see it's just somebody who was bored and really honestly. This one says, you're going to get arrested because you are out of order. So Janine and I've got all the ladies on screen. It looks amazing. Fantastic. So there is a question around opportunities in the sector, and after we answer this one, we're going to you know, as we nearing the end of the discussion, we're going to let our head down a little bit. So her name is Ravisha Govinda, who is on Zoom, says, what are the opportunities that might emerge for women in the automotive industry with regards to 4IR, and how can leaders leverage these opportunities to effect concrete change? Shivani, I'll pick on you.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, boss woman. I think, you know, for us, as much as the nature of vehicles that we're going to drive and we're going to make is different, I think fundamentally the automotive sector, I mean, everyone talks about Henry Ford and efficiency on the production line. For us, it's always going to be about that. I think there's a really strategic opportunity for us to leverage 4IR technologies and methodologies to streamline this efficiency, because that's the only way we're going to be globally competitive and to grow this market. I mean, you spoke about 600,000 vehicles to 1.2 million vehicles. Globally, that's still only 1% of sort of a global volume, right? We need to grow that volume. And I think we can only do that in an efficiency seeking way. I think many of the suppliers, and I speak for the suppliers only, we have this bad habit of waiting for our OEMs to tell us what to do, you know, and until the OEM sort of grabs you by the scruff of the neck and says, you know, you need to move, there's often little incentive to do that. And I think there are a handful of companies that are having some first mover advantages in that space. So for me, women in technology is a huge opportunity for people to get involved, to sort of drive change. And it's not the fact that you're a woman means people need to listen to you. It's the fact that you're driving efficiencies and a commercial outcome is why they need to listen to you. And I think we must frame it in that way. I think huge opportunity. Janine?
Yeah. I like how we pass on the baiting. Janine.
Yeah, no, I don't deal with that much. So Shivani did a good job in answering that question. So that 4IR and so forth. I write stories. I write about cars. Much like Clay does.
So you want Shivani and Carissa and everybody to package these stories and pass them on to you, and you give life to these stories. Is that how it works? There we go. Okay. We get that. We get that. So before we continue and letting our head down a little bit as we you know, as we closer to finishing our discussion for today, rather, I believe a little birdie tells me we have a winner. A little birdie tells me we have a winner, and we're about to see who the winner is. The winner is Thelma van Rensburg. Thelma van Rensburg, well done, Thelma. Thelma van Rensburg is winning that driving experience from BMW out at Waterfall.
Yes, X-Drive Park.
There we go. I'm so envious of you, Thelma. Well done. And I have no doubt that you're going to have a great time and really enjoy it. I want to challenge you that when you do go, you know, obviously find out from, because I know BMW is very, you know, you know, they keep their secrets close to their hearts. So as much as we want to be in the public domain on, you know, on all these Instagram pages and all of that, you know, just take a picture as you enter. and you say, I'm here now to utilize my prize, and maybe at a distance, but don't take pictures of all their secrets. But it's just so you know that you're enjoying yourself. You find out what it is that you can capture on in images and that you can share. It would be nice to see you, having a great time as you enjoy your prize on the day. Alrighty, I'm going to request that I have all the ladies back on screen again. Fantastic. And I'm going to ask you this. So, Abba.
Yes.
Do you have a women in your office that work with you in your department that look up to you? That where you go in, as a firm, as a organized women in leadership who has a plan, who understands the strategy, but who also is mindful of the fact that you can't do it alone. And days are not the same. And you walk in and you see that somebody's crown needs to be fixed because they could be going through. Listen, we are all going through the most. Hey, with this pandemic story and all sorts of things, we've gone through so much. How do you give us an environment, an insight into the environment in your office, rather?
Absolutely. And not just an office. I would say in general, when you walk, you must walk with an intention because you know there are other women that are looking up to you. In an office environment, really, it's understanding that you can never do it alone. You work as a collective, but more importantly, you raise an issue around a crown that needs to be fixed. How do I help other women to know how to fix a crown? I look at it in this form. If you think about it, every single person needs to be acknowledged. They want to know that they matter. How do you affirm another woman that you are valued and we see you? That is very important. At the same time, using that part, the value part, and making them to know that when they work for this organization, whatever innovative ideas that they come up with, it's not something somebody's going to press down. We're going to look at it and say, let's innovate together. And more importantly, allow them to fail. Because when they fail, that crown will move aside. And that is when you need to pick them up as a leader. We have to be conscious enough and understanding that as leader, we are shepherd. We have all of these sheep that we need to shepherd. And the best form to shepherd them is allowing them sometimes to go off the course and help them through your guidance, through your mentorship, through the way you work with them to know that no matter what, even when you fail, you can still be better. That is the most important thing. But one of the things that I believe is very important is we need to become each other's sister's keeper. What do you do when last, particularly now more than ever because of the pandemic, many of us are working from home. When last did you pick up a phone and say to somebody, I just want to call you and appreciate you because you matter? Those are the things that we need to be doing. When we do that for somebody else, that very same woman will do it for somebody else. So we need to pave a way for every single one of us. So in a nutshell, it's about paving a way and living with intention because they are all watching, they are looking to look up to you.
Sure. Okay, I feel like I want to say amen. But Carissa, you cannot give from an empty cup, right? Absolutely can't.
No.
So in the course of doing all of this, where you put your professional hat aside a bit because you see a female colleague who's really honestly going through the most, for you to be able to have the strength, and I think your position is even the most challenging because you deal with those sorts of things, but you're also human. You also go through stuff, and you need to make sure that your own cup is full for you to be able to give. How do you navigate that?
I think Janine spoke about, somebody said to her, just because you're a mother, don't make excuses for not being a manager.
Yes, yeah.
I think that because we are mothers, we are the leaders that we are. Because when my cup is empty, what my children teach me is if at first you don't succeed, try again. So they teach me resilience. They teach me to be visionary. So look at it from a different perspective. Nothing is impossible. And I think the third thing that my children teach me is to be brave. So, personal story. I went earlier this year, I celebrated a big milestone birthday.
You're not telling us what it was?
No, I will not. And I have, my son is 11, Sebastian, and my daughter is 9, Isabella.
My daughter's Isabella. My daughter's Bella.
Yeah, I also have a Bella. And we went off to Sun City, and I promised myself and the kids that I would go on all the water slides.
Yes. Why do you want to do that to yourself?
It was hell. I think I went on about 8 slides. By the 5th time, my son said to me, "Mom, can you not scream?"
No, I can't not scream.
And just, exactly. I'm a girl, I'm going to scream. So, I think really, I get my strength from them every day. I get my strength from my team. If you're having a bad day, and sometimes we just have to let that crown be skewed.
Yeah,
because we just had a bad day and just let it lie.
It's okay. It's not to be okay.
Exactly. But every day I wake up and, my team inspires me to just make a difference. Every day is a new opportunity to just make meaningful impact together with them.
Yes.
And we have to do it together as a collective.
Absolutely. Listen, they gave me a nickname. There they are by that corner. I recently found out that the nickname they gave us, all those ladies, is Vuyo. Remember that commercial? Vuyo is a big dreamer. And I'm okay with it because, yes, I do dream. But when I do dream, I share my dream with them and they give it life.
Yes.
And we are here now because of that life they gave into this dream.
Exactly.
Which proves that you can't do it alone.
So happy. One of the things that she just mentioned now, really profound. They say a woman, they have got the ability and the capability, firstly, to create. When we create these souls, these human beings that we talk about, right? Our children. And because we do that, we become better leaders. We nurture.
Yes.
Any woman nature. And because of that, that is why we are able to take on that crown.
Yeah.
When sometimes we don't feel like it is, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And more importantly, we transform. We're transforming organizations every single day.
The little bit of contribution we make matters.
Matters. Absolutely.
Janine, you have a 6-year-old. Is it Janine?
Yes.
Why do you want to do that to yourself? Like mine just grew to 12-year-old. Why do you want who pulls you? Do you get inspired? I'm inspired by what Carissa said. Do you get inspiration from, is it a boy or a girl?
She's a girl. Her name's Sloan. Okay. And she'll probably come out running now because she's heard her name. But just the other day, I read a story about how she reacts to cars. And I try and bring that in when I do that because we're just normal people. And just because I'm a woman and I'm a petrolhead, it doesn't mean I'm not a wife and a mother or a sister and a daughter. But it was so cute because I don't force cars on her. But every week I taste a different car. So naturally, kids are very observant. So she'll tell me, "Oh, I like this about this car." She loves buckies and SUVs because it's spacious and it's got big windows and she can see outside. She doesn't like small cars because she can't stretch a leg, that kind of thing. But I was test driving a very sporty car the other day. It was a Porsche 911 GTS. And she she couldn't stop talking about it. And when I wrote my story, I wrote about her and how, she said it's like a unicorn, and those kind of things. And that particular model is like a unicorn because there are so few of them in South Africa. But she's definitely my A and my reason. And I think as mothers, as Sheresa also said, and Abu, they definitely help us to become leaders. Um, and because I think because we are women and we are more empathetic in the workplace, we're more compassionate and passionate about what we do. Not that men aren't, but I think it's easier for women to relate and to explain things better to men and to be more sympathetic towards our colleagues, that you wouldn't get from a male leader, I would think, or not as much. So being a mom, it definitely helps you being a leader in the workplace. I definitely have to agree with that. And just while I'm talking, I just wanted to say earlier, um, overseas charging stations are like spaza shops over here. It's like on every corner, every block.
Really? Yeah.
And although all the dealerships that sell electric cars have charging stations, there is something called grid cars, and they have over 150 charging stations in South Africa. And you just get a little app, it's called plug in or something like that, and it will tell you where there is a charging station quite nearby to you. So we're not far off the path, and you just need to look and you'll find a charging station. And also, if you can afford to buy an electric car, you can get the charging station and have one set up at your home and so forth, which comes with the car. But I also wanted to say for BMW, that ad that you played earlier, that's the new iX, and the new iX3 is going to be coming to South Africa early next year as well. So BMW will have the i3 and the iX3 that you can buy. It's a free pun for them. They should pay me for that.
Thank you, Janine.
Yeah.
Then you send the invoice.
Yeah, you must send the invoice. Please, can it come via me first? And then I'll make sure to put a markup. And then, so before I ask Claire, you know what keeps you going? I wanted to quickly say something about what Carissa shared with us. Listen, don't take me on anything that takes my adrenaline to. I will not go onto any ride. That mom that screams. So I've made peace with it. I say to the family, I will go with you, but I'll be the girl that goes and gets water for you. And when they climb, I look the other way because I don't want to see what happens. So I go to Ratanga Junction because I was once on the rides. I nearly died. I'm surprised that I lived to tell this story. So Bella will say to me, Ma, you can't even enter Amazing Race with me. I'm like, I'm there, but I'll be cheering you. But I'm not climbing a mountain and doing all sorts of funny. It's not my type of gig. That's not. Claire, what keeps you going? Do you have a little person? Because I think that's a common thread, hey? That's what makes us so soft and really just light up as women when we think of the little people in our lives, and we do all of these crazy things for them.
Yes.
It's for them. Yeah. Okay, Claire?
My little person is 21.
Little?
But he's been 21. He's been 21 for 24 years now. I'm not really sure. So no, I don't have kids. My husband is my big kid. So the two of us, we decided not to have children. We met a little late in life and that kind of thing. But no, I get it. I mean, I used to, my other job was to teach children dancing. So I mean, I've been inspired by kids and the eyes and the amazing, the like seeing everything through their eyes is always very inspiring. But I mean, what keeps me going? I just don't, what doesn't keep me going? We live in this amazing country. My husband's from the UK, and everyone always says to him, what are you doing here? And I just think, like, why wouldn't he want to live here? You know, we've got the best people, we've got the best weather, we've got terrible electricity, we've got no, I'm kidding. And I just think what's great about him is that like he's converted and he's proud to be here, he's proud to live here, and that's all he wants, you know. And I don't know what it is about living here. There's so much potential. We just, and that's what keeps me going. I think it's just the love of being here and the potential that we have in this country. You know, and we have, and that's why I think I became a tech journalist and then went into cars, is we have a unique set of problems that only we can sort of solve. And we could really show the world how it's done. We just need to get our act together. And that's
With
basically
the
it. Water and the electricity and the government and the, you know, there's a list.
But you know, we're not different from any other country.
You know, this is amazing.
Okay, you go first.
No, and I agree. My thing is, the grass is always greener because I'm not allowed to say the word, but the manure is maybe deeper. The manure is deeper.
Yes.
So that's
we get you.
Everything always looks so much better somewhere else, but if you just stay here and you keep going and you plow on, and yes, we have bad days and you want to pull your hair out and all that kind of stuff, but again, resilience, you pull yourself towards yourself and you keep going. You know, throwing in the towel is not always the option, because for me, this is the place to be. You know, that it's just exciting. We have so much potential. We are just, I feel like this is the place to be, and you can just see it, the spirit of the people, the way we recovered from all that stuff that was happening just a couple of months ago, you know, just not even a month ago, you know, we all came together, stood together, bound together, and that's who we are. You know, it's like, I can talk about my mom, but nobody else is allowed to. Everybody else. I can talk about my country, but nobody else is allowed to. And
no one is allowed to.
That's what's great about being here. You know, there's just so much potential, and that's what keeps me going. I think, you know, I've lived here all my life and raised as a pure Joburg girl, and that's what I want. You know, that I just want to prove people wrong. The people that have left, I want to prove them wrong and be like, you know.
I love the hope you have and the faith you have in the country, irrespective of the troubles. Every country has its own troubles. We just don't know, you know, about them, honestly. And it's not our indaba. Can we just focus? It's like wanting to know what's happening in your neighbor's house. We don't want to know. We want to focus on it. So you know, every country has their own challenges. You said we have a different set of challenges, but one thing that brings us together, you know, belting out Nkosi Sigeleli Africa, we are in this thing together. Sporting activities, we are in this thing together. Music and Heritage Month is coming along very soon. We do this thing. So there's really just so much. We can't throw in the towel. That's not an option. Shivani, what keeps you going as we close?
Thank you, boss woman. I think for me, I don't have a little human. I have my humans in my team, my office. I have a really young team of millennials. They're eager, they're enthusiastic. I think for us, you know, in the space that we work in, people think it's difficult for women to sort of carve out your space. But we've realized that I think the men amongst us are pretty open-minded. They're giving us the platform, giving us the opportunity. You've got to knock it out of the park. My team is a little team of overachievers. They want to do better, more, faster, quicker, wider. This is how we roll. And sort of being each other's cheerleaders, I think it creates this environment where you sort of nurture, egg each other on. We celebrate our wins, the smallest wins. We're having cake and donuts. We're getting a gin. We do it because I think life is too short to sit and wallow, you know, on your life problems. I think, like Claire said, there are lots of problems, but I mean, in your little circle of influence, if you can make a positive change, if you can help someone, I think celebrate it, get a pat on the back, have a piece of cake, and like live your best life. I think that's, you know, my approach.
Because this thing called life is not a rehearsal, ne? There's one take. This is it. We're doing this together. We're not going to come back here tomorrow and say, ladies, let's fix what did not quite go well. Yes, this is it. There's only one take. There's no, comeback. I like the one part in your description now where you said, I love your office, by the way. You said there's cake and there's something else also. Did you hear that
Yes,
word?
I did.
The GNT situation. Yeah, I use.
It's local gin, by the way. It has to be local gin. Let me just say that.
You read my mind. I was going to ask you, hey, where's the gin made? This is a local situation. You read my mind.
Has
Fantastic. Ntabi, I know you have a little person. I think they are 8. Is that correct? Have you got a little person? Is it on mute?
Oh, yeah. Yes, he's 7.
Oh,
He's 7. I have a little person, boy, Mason, and yeah, a big, like Claire said, I also have a big boy, my husband. So yeah, both of them at home, and my mother-in-law, my mom as well, they keep me going. They also support me. Remember one day, because it's always tough. Yeah, working in this industry, it's tough. And you feel like it's challenging sometimes because people see us, like we said, we are leader and we portray like things are okay. We don't want to cry, and your kids or my son would see through and say, what's wrong, mama? And I said, no, this is what's happening. And I'll start, because he converts in an adult manner. And I would tell him what is happening and what I'm feeling. And he said, oh, I'm sorry, mommy, please forgive them. And, and I was like, wow, you're right. Why am I worrying and not forgive this person? Other than my husband, we met here in BMW. 18 years ago. We've been married for 17 years.
A lot happens at BMW.
Yes, we are.
You manufacture cars, you play Cupid. You are
That's why I said we build more than cars. We build more than cars.
Now we find out.
So yeah. So I think also the support system from his side, understanding the industry as well. We work late, long hours, and to be a mother, to be a wife, to go home and do so many things in Hills. I'm sure Carissa does the cooking quickly because of it's late and she has to put up something together, so the support that you get as well from our spouses as well is very incredible. But the most important thing is seeing the people in BMW being supportive and being with you, asking you if you're okay, being vulnerable, telling you about their situation. It's really mind-blowing as well. So that's what keeps me going. My team also, they're very supportive. And I'm talking about men where they will come and ask me, Tabi, don't worry, it will be okay. You'll make it. From tomorrow, I'm moving from to a new department of technology to paint shop. I'm being in an assembly for a long time, but I didn't realize that the people, the love that they have as a mother or as a leader, is like having kids, and they're worried that when you are leaving, what are we going to be? So that's what's keep me going. Yeah.
I'm so glad that we're having this discussion on the eve of your starting a new page, so to speak, within the same environment. And I feel like we're happy for you, and happy, that you can clearly see you. There's the real. There's the real. I didn't have to do it this time.
The crowd.
Claire's not sleeping on the job.
Just fix the crowd.
And Claire, by the way, my son is a gadget boy as well. So you guys must hook up.
We'll hook you up. But ladies, in conclusion, please keep the ladies on screen as I do my closing remarks. It's been incredible. And, I'm very big personally as well on fixing women's crowns. When one woman wins, guys, we all win. When Zozibini won Miss South Africa and Miss Universe, listen, I was in front of the TV. It felt like I won, you know, and you don't have to know the woman. You honestly don't have to know them. When one woman wins, from today, I'm going to feel like I also contributed to making that X3, you know, because now we engaged with Ntabi and we engaged with Carissa. I also feel like I put on that wheel and tire. You know what I mean? Because when one of us does well, we all do well. So I'm very big on fixing the teams. You know, it's not always easy. Days are not the same. All of us are imperfect in the what is so-called the perfect world, or we're perfect in our imperfections, you know? And it's okay. And sometimes you fix somebody's crown without even realizing it. Let me tell you what Janine, who's a co-executive who works with me at, you know, at Proudly South African. We Ebony and Ivory, we call each other. And she fixed my crown without even me realizing it. So one day I'm in the office, I have a pending interview at Cliff Central with Gareth. And before that, I have a bit of time to make coffee. I make coffee, but my hands are full. I'd gone to the car, I don't know what to do what. I get back to the office, make coffee, and my hands are full. I go to the office, I drink my tea. Now it's time to go from Rosebank to Rivonia. I cannot find my car keys. Guys, I cannot find my car keys. The team helps me. We turn my office inside out. I cannot find my car keys. I run into Janine's office. She's probably thinking, there's a mad black woman running into my office demanding my keys. She gives me her car keys. She doesn't even wait to hear the story. I have to go. Interview, whatever. She gives me her car keys. I run and I drive all the way to Rivonia. Now I'm calm in the car because I see I'm not doing very badly with time. I'm okay. There's no need to panic. But I've got to think, because when I go back to the office, I'm going to have to find those car keys to go home. I can't keep Janine's car, you know, and I'm thinking about it. Then all of a sudden, guys, I kid you not, a light bulb moment. I go, and then there's the key. Guess where? In between the twins. Safely stored in between I couldn't even feel it. I mean, what kind of a human being does that make me? Couldn't even feel. I actually had a loud, laugh out loud moment. What do you call it? What do the young people say? Lol.
Lol.
Yes, a lol moment. You know, drove all the way to, I shared with Gareth in moderation though. And I said, I found it somewhere. Doesn't matter where. I got back to the office and I said, Janine, I kept it where I found it, for you to see where the keys are. Yeah, let me tell you, I have never heard the end of that story from my team. They remind me every year, you with your key, don't start. So, but Janine fixed my crown. I made it for my appointment. I didn't have to take an Uber. I used her car. She doesn't even know whether I'm a safe driver or not. She gave me her car for me to make it and be able to do my job. She doesn't know this, but she fixed my crown, right? It's little things like that. And, you know, I live by the principle, just be kind to the next woman or to the next person, because everybody you come across is going through something you know nothing about. Really, honestly, just be kind. Ladies, yes, our gratitude at Proudly South African knows no boundaries. You spend time with us. You heeded our call to come and join us and have this unusual discussion, you know, and really just, you were in it, you know, honestly, wholeheartedly. You know, you really just gave us your precious time. I can imagine what your diaries look like, you know, on a daily basis. Thank you so much for having an appreciation of the buy local narrative. And having an appreciation of the localization, you know, responsibility that the country has. Whether you're private sector, whether you're public sector, whether you're consumer, this economy is not going to work itself out by magic. It's going to take every one of us, you know, the value chains we've now unpacked. It's going to take, you know, the processes behind all of these industries. We started, like I said, with the clothing and textile, footwear, leather industry. We had this. We had the sugar industry. And when you get an invitation that says, come to the sugar sector dialogue, you're like, what? What am I going to do with sugar? Put it in the coffee, and then what? But we spoke to women who work in the cane fields. We talked to women in the milling situation, process, the logistics, the packaging, the ultimately being in retail stores, and ultimately getting to us as consumers, grabbing that packet of sugar, taking it home, and how to consume it in moderation. Listen, even that bottle of gin, Shivani, I've got bad news for you. You also have to take it in moderation, right? And then we moved on to creative arts last week, what we consume on television, all that local content on MultiChoice. We had MultiChoice here. What we consume on radio, although, we celebrated one of our own who happens to be a team member of mine, Zineda, who's a graphic designer. Listen, beauty with brains.
Wow.
The kind of artwork that Zineda sends out there. People ask us, who's your creative agency? We don't have it. We don't have the kind of budgets, to get an agency to produce what she does. And for me, it was important for us to celebrate because she makes me look very good. Zineda makes us look very good. And this is what we celebrated last week. Today, we're talking cars. We're talking the village, but thank you so much, ladies. We really, really appreciate it. You're a member, so we'll be in touch.
Absolutely.
I know the story.
Absolutely.
Carissa, I know your daughter's name.
Yes.
I know Sebastian. I know where you work.
Yeah.
I've got your ID number. I'm kidding. But but we had such a lovely chat. It only makes sense to carry on in our respective, areas of work to make the difference that we would like to see. Thank you so much, really, for adding so much value in the work that you do. Ntabi, you remain the steering. They say in every movie, steering. Look, she does this. Because you are on the floor. You are on the floor. To see all of it come together. And you're just a girl. You're just a girl from Harangua. Just like I'm just a girl from Soweto. And all of us come from somewhere, guys. We didn't fall from a tree. We just, women, in inverted commas, girls that come from, most of us, humble beginnings, but we refused to be told it is not possible. We went out for everything they told us we were not deserving of, and hence we are here today. Thank you so much, Ntabi. Shivani, I also know where to find you. We may not talk because of COVID. We used to jump into a plane and go to your office in Durban and do the work and all of that. But COVID has asked us to pause. But this too shall pass. Okay, I know I sounded like a pastor's wife. But this too shall pass, right? We'll be back. Thank you so much. The Gaja girl, Claire, thank you. We appreciate it. We know that you had elsewhere to go, but you made it. All of you got up, dressed up, and showed up. Thank you so much. Janine, thank you. It really you brought another element into this discussion. Everybody did. Everybody, honestly, everybody did. Thank you so much. We really are grateful for the work that you do in your respective spaces, but also for heeding our call and being here with us as Proudly South African today. All righty. So with that said, I would like us to now. So I did a throwback, but I want us to, and I think we've discussed the key takeouts. We've learned so much. I feel like I was in a, a varsity situation, going through a hell of a thesis that I had to prepare for. It was great. It really, really was great. You are in the studio. Your parting shot.
I think you said it, Happy. I think if we support each other,
yes,
we all rise.
Yes.
And I think that's important to remember.
Yes.
We can't do this alone. We fix each other's crowns.
Yes.
And just to remain focused on just supporting and making sure that we all rise. I think that's important.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It would be a miss for me not to mention my son. I've got a 19-year-old son.
Okay.
And one of the things that he always says is, nothing is impossible in life. The only thing that is impossible, it's impossibility.
There we go.
So that is my parting words,
Yeah.
to say stand strong and shine that crown. If it needs a little bit of fixing, ask somebody else to help you with it.
Yes.
If you can fix it yourself, go ahead and do it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Abba. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us, wherever you may have been. Thank you for those who joined us on the Zoom platform, Facebook, the way people joining us, Twitter, there was. Thank you so much. Thank you to BMW South Africa for partnering with us. Thank you to your colleagues who really made things happen behind the scenes. They did. They did. There were emails back and forth. Yeah, they did.
I watched them.
Thank you so much, BMW South Africa, for really, you guys were amazing. We're glad we came knocking on your door. Thank you so much to Sizwe's IT. Your colleagues behind the scenes were also amazing.
Absolutely.
Thank you for partnering with us. Team Proudly South African, I have great girls in the world that make all things happen. Thank you to my colleagues, even our male colleagues who are amazing, who really get us. You know, do they get a royal clip? They do.
Yeah.
They get a royal clip. Thank you so much. Stakeholders, member companies who joined us, the DTIC, all the departments out there that are online who joined us. Thank you so much. Competition winner, well done. Well done. You went out and you got yourself a prize. We go to our website and see the amazing work that we do as Proudly South African. Social media handles on Facebook, Insta, and Twitter at proudly.sa. And my parting shot is buy local to create jobs. Let's just buy local to create jobs. You will be surprised at the difference your purchasing decision, just one purchasing decision, will make going forward. And how do I know a product is Proudly South African on the shelves? It'll have the Proudly South African logo, but not all products will have. And those who don't have that logo, it'll say Made in South Africa. To join us as a member, go to our website, membership icon, very easy process. Associate yourself with a credible entity, credible campaign. Thank you, everybody. To the AV team behind the scenes, thank you so much for your hard work. May we have the Rebuild campaign as we shut down. Thank you. Goodbye. Can we have the ladies on screen waving goodbye quickly? Yay, there they are. And Tabby saying, you know, a royal wave. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you. Rebuild. Let's rebuild our economy, please, AVs.